Hello and welcome back to the Estate Agent Consultancy Midweek Podcast. I'm going to start off with a couple of thank yous. First of all, a huge thank you to everyone who downloaded, bought, borrowed, stole, whatever it may be, a copy of our second book, which didn't come out too long ago, How to Grow Your Estate Agency. Went straight in as a #1 bestseller on Amazon, which is absolutely amazing. No pressure for book number 3, but we've had 2 best-selling books so far. So loads of pressure for number 3 coming out and making sure that is obviously a bestseller in the future. Thank you number 2 is very related to the first one. At the back of How to Grow Your Estate Agency, there's a little message from myself basically saying if you enjoy the book, send me a quick DM, email, text message, WhatsApp, pigeon, whatever it may be, to say, thank you, enjoyed the book, and I, took this from it or I took that from it. I've had loads of messages over the last couple of weeks or so. It's quite funny. You could tell when people are actually coming towards the end of the book, or when it's kind of synchronization, because suddenly the DM started coming through to say, thank you so much, finish the book, and it was all really good. So a huge thank you to those people. So here we are with what I'm seeing as season number 2 of the midweek podcast. So behind the scenes, I record these all in bulk. As you might imagine, it takes a long time to set up multiple cameras and microphones and lighting and all the stuff sort of behind the scenes. So I tend to record these in bulk sessions. And the first one, I recorded 8 podcasts sort of in a row and looking to do the same all over again. So a huge thank you for everyone who's listened into the midweek podcast. I had lots of really good feedback off the back of them. And for quite a few weeks, they've actually outstripped the Friday podcast with regard to the number of people that have listened to it. So that was a really nice surprise to see. So thank you for everybody who made that possible. So let's jump into it. So we're going to do some short, sweet stuff today that is going to help you convert more market appraisals to instructions, which I think is a pretty strong topic for people that want to do throughout this year. And obviously, if you want to go on as many market appraisals as possible, also convert those to sell to properties that want to sell with themselves. Now, I had a market appraisal years and years and years and years ago. We're going back probably 10 years ago now, and I didn't get it. Hands up, didn't get the market appraisal. It happens to the best of us. And I phoned them up the next day and said, why didn't you want to go with ourselves? What was the feedback sort of thing? And they said the other agent had buyers for our property. Now, this really annoyed me. So it annoyed me in many ways because A, you talk to any estate agent in the world and say, have you got buyers for my property? About a nanosecond later, they're going to go, yes, as if by magic, I've got buyers for your property. So every agent is going to say that. There's very few agents, I would say none out there, who you go, have you got buyers for my property? And they go, no, actually, I don't think I do. I'll start fishing around and see if I can find some. So that frustrated me. And actually, I took that learning on board quite heavily straight away after that. It didn't actually happen since that point. I mean, I lost market appraisals. We all lose market appraisals, but not for the point of not having buyers for that property or not getting across the fact I had buyers for the property, because I did have buyers for the property, but clearly in that situation, I didn't convey across to the homeowner that I had buyers that wanted to view their property and may want to go for it. So this is what I changed from that day onwards, and it served me really well up to this point. So if people with homeowners say to you, have you got buyers for my property? Or even if they don't say, have you got buyers for my property? They are asking it inside. They want to know, what's my property worth? Are you going to sell it? Have you got buyers for it? Etc. So even if they don't say to you, have you got buyers for my home? Then they are going to be thinking it. So what we want to do is be one step ahead and answer that question, whether they ask it to you or not. So how we can do that is by preparing before the market appraisal. So we've talked already, and if you've read the books, you should know about sort of pre-market appraisal letters being hand delivered, etc. So you'll have a pretty darn good idea about what you're going to value on the property. So first of all, you're going to have a phone call with the vendor. They're going to explain they've got a 3-bedroom semi-detached house and they've been there for 20 years looking to upsize, etc. Cool. Okay, so we know that part. We're also hand delivering a pre-market appraisal letter, hopefully, to the property, so you get to see the outside of it as well. So before you've even gone inside, you've got a pretty good idea about what you're going to see. So next job for most agents is to do their research. They'll look on Rightmove and Sprift and whatever else it may be to see what sort of value the property is going to be. The next job after you've done that should be looking at what buyers you have on your database for that property. Now, I know it sounds super simple and many agents miss this out and I have no idea why they do. What you effectively want to do is look to your database and go, right, let's find 5 buyers. That's probably an ample number of people who I think that I could phone today and get a viewing on that property off the back of them. So they might be people who have viewed similar properties in the local area, for example, someone who's been looking with you for a while, someone who registered with you at the weekend, for example. But anyway, people that you would phone to that if the property came on the market today, your next call would be to them and say, "Hi, Mr. Jones, hope you're okay. It's Chris. I've got that property you want to come on the market. Let's go and look around that home." So what we can do is find that list of people. And effectively what we're going to do is, in a very blunt way, is take that list with us. Now, there are some golden rules to this, which we'll go through very shortly. But effectively, we're going to go through on the market appraisal, and the homeowner is going to have a conversation with us towards the end of the market appraisal. And we're going to say to them, look, we have got buyers for your home. Here are 5 people that I've looked at on our database already who I think would be absolutely perfect for your property. And should you instruct us on a property today, these are going to be my next phone calls to actually get you viewings on the property. Now, not only are we going to speak to these people, because obviously we don't want to put all our eggs in one basket or 5 eggs in one basket in that situation. Also, we want to expose your role to the maximum marketplace as well. So we've talked about advertising on Rightmove and Zoopla and social media and whatever else it may be. But these are going to be the people I'm going to speak to straight away. So we've got this sort of both bases covered of people on our system, sort of our black book of buyers, but also we've got the coverage of the national network and Rightmove and Zoopla and all that sort of stuff as well. So basically kind of covering both bases here. So what we're going to do is talk to the homeowner. Look, I've got Mr. Jones, who is in rented at the moment, who's looking for a 3-bedroom house in this development up to the same sort of price we've talked about today. So he would be my phone call number 1. Next person after that is Mrs. Taylor. Mrs. Taylor is currently living with her family. She's got a 6-bedroom. She's looking to downsize to a 3-bedroom. She's got X, Y, Z criteria, and your property seems to align with it quite well. Therefore, you are showing that you have buyers for that property ready to go today. So that is a much more convincing argument than an estate agent answering a question, do you have buyers? And then going, yes. Because effectively what you're saying is, yes, I do have buyers for you, and let's chat them through exactly what we've got for your property. It's a far more convincing argument for the homeowner and for yourself to go forward with to say, this is exactly who we have for your property. And if you instruct me, the next call will be to these people. So let's talk through some golden rules for this because there's a rather whopping couple that are going to slap us in the face if we don't kind of get on them pretty quickly. Number 1, I'll go official first of all, and that is GDPR. So what you're not going to do is literally print out your CRM system, and you're not going to bring along Mr. Jones, who lives at number 2 New Road. Here's his postcode, here's his phone number, here's his email address. As you might imagine, bit of an issue on the GDPR side of things. You are not leaving behind this information in any way, shape, or form. So what you're more likely going to have is Mr. Jones lives in this sort of area at the moment, and this sort of budget is what he's looking up to. That's a far better way of doing it. So even if you did happen to leave it behind by mistake, which you don't want to do, they're not going to be trackable because obviously you've kind of gone, it's Mr. Jones, this roughly ballpark sort of village or part of town sort of thing. There's no phone numbers on there. There's no email address on there at all. There's nothing kind of can stick on yourself effectively. The only caveat I'd put on that is if someone's got a bit of a funky surname or a funky first name to go with it. So, for example, if their name is Chris Webb, trust me, you've got no problems. They are not going to find them online. There's about 1 million Chris Webbs, not that I've ever Googled myself, and you will never be able to find them in the local area. If my name was Chris Glockenspiel, then yes, strangely enough, you'd be able to go onto Facebook, be able to go on Instagram, whatever it may be. You type in Chris Glockenspiel, and I'd imagine there's only one of them in the local area. Therefore, that homeowner could direct message that person and say, hi, random thing, but you're not looking to buy a 3-bedroom house in the local area, are you? And as if by magic, they will go, yes, actually, I am. How did you know that? Long story, etc. So they're looking to cut you out in that situation. Now, most homeowners are very nice and very honest and wouldn't do that. But I think in these situations, we kind of need to plan for the worst. So what I want to do is minimal details. So Mr. Jones, this area, this sort of budget, and this is their situation at the moment. They're not trackable, they're not findable, they're not kind of GDPR issues down the line there at all, but we're clearly showing that we know our database, we know what's going on, and we've got buyers for that property. If you had like an open day, for example, on a similar property down the road 2 weeks ago, great. Bring the same sort of list, obviously very edited, to that property. Great, well, we had 5 viewings or 10 viewings on the property down the road. These are the ones that bought it. That's the Taylors. They're going to be your new neighbours very shortly. But these are the other guys that we actually showed around the property to. And these would be my first phone calls. We had the Smiths, we had the Joneses, we had the Taylors, we had the Webbs, whatever it may be, who came to see their property. And these would be my next calls for your property. So please don't go on valuations. And when someone says, have you got buyers for my property? You shouldn't just say yes. You should go, yes. And here those people are. These are the people that I've gone through, I've researched already. I knew what sort of property you're going to have. I know my database, I know my buyers, and therefore these are the right people for your home. We're covering off the sort of black book of buyers that you've got within your CRM system, but also covering off the national side of things with your wider conversations as well. So basically, we're winning here, we're winning there. So you've got kind of both bases covered in that situation. Right. So next time we go on a market appraisal, if anyone says to you, "Have you got any buyers?" and you just turn around saying yes, you've made a mistake. If you turn around and say yes, and here they are, then absolutely fantastic. You've done the right thing. Hope you enjoyed today's podcast. I will see you on an episode very soon. We've got some really exciting stuff coming up in the near future. Hope you enjoyed it. Get looking into your buyers list. Take them on your next market appraisal. Honestly, it will help convert your market appraisals in such a better fashion. Speak to you really soon. See you later.